What's up, guys? Welcome back to the official Triton YouTube channel. Today we're going to take a look at my Remington 700 build. Before we get into that though, go ahead and scroll down, hit like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a giveaway when this channel hits 10,000 subscribers. That'll be over on Instagram, so go give us a follow on Instagram as well. With that out of the way, let's get into this build. So here in front of me today, this is my Remington 700 build. This is a bolt action gun. And just to highlight a few things, up top here, this is a Triton Tempest 4 to 16 by 50 first focal plane long range scope. We have, as I said, the Remington 700 itself. We have a Magpul bipod here at the front. And last but not least, we have a LAHAR suppressor. Now let's talk about the rifle itself. As I said, this is a Remington Model 700 .308 caliber bolt action rifle. I find myself attracted to bolt action rifles almost for the nostalgia of them more than anything. They just feel like an American gun. This Remington here in front of us, it's got a totally rubber chassis and stock, which is kind of nice because you don't have to worry about your fingers slipping on it if it gets wet at all and you're in the woods when you're hunting. You can grab this thing really easily, and even around the trigger itself, it's got almost some texture to add to that grip. I do kind of like the pattern. It's not fully camo. It's a little bit of a greenish gray, but it's a nice touch. It's not the traditional wood. I like those too, but I do like what Remington went with here. So moving forward from our stock back here, we have our bolt, which I really like. I really like how well it slides. It just has a good action to it. It feels good. And right below that, we have our safety, which I like how it feels when you're actually shooting this thing. It's right there in a really good position. It easily flicks on and off. So when you're in the deer stand and a deer pops out on you, you can quickly flick that safety and you're good to go. Down below, we have the trigger. Again, I don't have any complaints. It's got a good pull, a good feel to it. Moving up top here, you can see we've got a little bit of Picatinny, where of course we have mounted our optic. Now looking inside here is where we'd actually load the rifle. Pretty standard for bolt action. I don't love how this area can get a little bit clogged, but it's nothing to deter me from purchasing the rifle itself. Now down below, if we want to say empty this magazine area, we've got a little button right here in front of the trigger that flicks out just like that, rather dramatically, and all your rounds will go flying out into the ground if you're not careful. So use that button with care, but definitely nice to have for unclogging things. Maybe you got a jam, you need to get your hand up in there. You can easily access that area through the bottom. Moving forward here, we do have a Magpul bipod. This is really an essential for any sort of long range shooting or hunting for that matter. You want to be stable and steady when you're shooting long range. You're not plinking with this gun. This is not a gun to run drills with. You need to have a nice steady shot. Lastly, moving on down the barrel, on the end here, we do have a LAHAR suppressor. That's something I think is an essential for any firearm really, but especially a bigger gun like this, a bigger caliber like a .308. It's going to be loud. It's going to be very concussive, and I have a little bit sensitive ears, so I don't want to lose my hearing. So I like having a suppressor on my rifle. Now, moving up top here, let's talk about the optic itself. This is a Triton Tempest 4 to 16 by 50 first focal plane long range scope. We'll start once again at the back with our ocular lens, which is adjustable right here in the back very easily, very convenient. Moving forward from that, we do have our magnification adjustment here, which it does have, if you'll notice, quite a large throw, which is nice where it catches your thumb or your finger trying to make a quick adjustment. And you might be concerned that that might catch the bolt itself when you're at full magnification. And that's a valid concern, but thankfully Triton has already thought of that, and this throw right here actually does unscrew. And even if you do unscrew it, you can still move this guy. No problem, you can adjust that magnification with no issues. Moving forward from that, we do have two scope rings, which when you purchase this Triton Tempest, the scope rings are included. One of my favorite features is that the scope rings come with a level, which is really nice when you're long range shooting and you need to make sure your whole setup is level before you take a shot. You've got a level right there to check. Up top here, we do have our elevation, and on the side here, the windage turrets. I really like them because they pop out, and then that's when you can make your adjustments when they're pressed down It's like you've got a cap over them. You can't bump them, you can't change them. So no worries if you're walking through the woods and you feel like I might bump this on a tree and I might make an adjustment to my windage or elevation that it's not desired. No worries at all. When you press these guys in, you cannot make any adjustments. It's only when you pull them out you can then make those adjustments. So moving to the other side of the Optic here, there are a couple of other features that I want to let you know about. The first is that outermost adjustment ring. This is the adjuster for the brightness on your illuminated reticle. In those dusky situations when you're deer hunting and the sun hasn't quite set, it can be kind of tough to see that very standard traditional looking gray reticle. I really like to have that illuminated reticle to just brighten it up a little bit. And with the Tempest, you've got 6 different illumination brightness settings. Moving on in, we do have the parallax adjustment. That'll be that second adjustment ring on that side of the Optic is your parallax adjustment. Moving forward, we do have another scope ring, and then last but not least, the 50mm objective lens. So as I mentioned, I built this rifle out for deer hunting. Now you could just as easily take this setup and go out on a range where you could try and make a 1,000, 1,200 yard shot. This rifle can absolutely stretch out that far. Same with this Optic. Now, this is more for deer hunting, say in open fields where things are more wide open, because it's got that base magnification of 4. That can box you in a little bit, and it stretches out to a magnification level of 16, which is probably not going to be used if you're deer hunting, say, in the woods. You might want to opt for this Triton Nexus, which is a 2:10 optic. That base magnification of 2 will allow you to back off quite a bit further and probably get a clearer shot closer to you. Because something to keep in mind with any sort of long range shooting is you can zoom in really far, and in video games that works really well, but in real life you got to be careful with that, because when you zoom in all the way on an optic, your mistakes are also amplified. They're also zoomed in. So just a little bit of a flinch or your breathing is wrong and all of a sudden your aim is way off and you completely miss a deer. You don't want that to happen. So definitely something to consider is what magnification range is going to be best for you. So go ahead and comment down below. Let me know where you're typically hunting. Like I said, I built this out to hunt in open fields where I don't have to worry about brush or trees or rocks. Maybe you don't deer hunt, maybe you elk hunt. Let me know where you're hunting down below in the comments. All right guys, one more thing I want to leave with you here today is the importance of taking an ethical shot when you're hunting. This setup right here in front of me, I built out specifically for deer hunting, taking in the rifle and its ability, the caliber, and also the optic and its ability. I built it all out for deer hunting. You might be hunting something different. You might be hunting elk or bear, whatever it is, you need to study that and investigate it on your own. With rifles, this is a .308 caliber rifle. I'm fully confident that it could take a deer at the yardage I typically shoot them at. Like I said, you might be hunting something different and you need to figure out what caliber you need on your rifle in order to take that animal. With the optic itself, this is a first focal plane optic. Some people get a little bit confused in first focal plane versus second focal plane optics. Coming back to, we want to take a good ethical shot. We have a video that will explain the differences of first focal plane and second focal plane optics. We'll link that down below. Study up on your local regulations, study up on what animal exactly you are hunting. Build your setups out to where you can confidently take an animal, you can confidently take an ethical shot. And that's all we've got for you guys here today. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, go subscribe, go give us a follow on Instagram. Check out all those links in the description down below, and we'll see you on the next one.